Welcome to PowerUp podcast, the podcast that seeks to empower and dismantle, giving us the power and confidence to question, deconstruct, rebuild, and expand in life. I'm your host, AmaRouge, voiceover and multidisciplinary artist, well-being advocate, food and book geek with over 14 years of movement-centered experience.
I am your host, Mesma, artist, choreographer, yogi and coach with a passion for alchemy, creativity, transformation and workplace wellness.
We recognise that we can't dismantle and empower or be empowered without first learning ourselves, diving deeper to unlearn the harmful, restrictive and unprogressive. It's an ongoing practice and journey for us all, which is why we created this podcast.
Our show features guests doing the work to enlighten, deconstruct and power up in their own magical ways.
We're going to be having conversations around the power of healing, transformation, well-being and creativity, and how they feed our personal and collective evolution, how they help us power up. Hello listeners, today we are joined by the wonderful Mark, pronouns he, him. Mark is an entrepreneur, music lover and connector of people. Mark is the founder of a few businesses, including Aquaba Yoga, Nexus and Celador, which he very humbly said probably makes him an entrepreneur. We think yes. He likes problem solving and creating platforms for other people to express themselves and thrive. He makes sure he has a good work-life balance, which has been bettered since he discovered yoga in 2012. Work-wise, he's enjoying building out a community of creatives at Nexus, a company with a focus on environmental, social and governance-aligned founders. And in the wellness world, Mark is hoping to release a range of yoga mats with Aquaba Yoga. Very exciting. Mark is developing the brand with a goal to introduce young people to yoga and mindfulness, which we are totally here for. Welcome, Mark. So happy to have you on the show.
No, thank you. That was a lovely intro, Emma, and Ella. Really delighted to be on the show, on the podcast. I've listened to some of the past episodes, and really love what you both brought to the table with the PowerUp podcast.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot.
Can you I wish you could all just see what Ella did there. I feel like she just did a dance move in celebration, and I don't know, we have to give it a name, but it also was accompanied by a high five. Hopefully we'll come to that later on. Belle can give us a name for that.
I reckon that might be the judge move.
Mark, you mentioned in your bio that you have a good work-life balance and it's been bettered by your discovery of yoga. And I just wondered, since this episode is all around, or this series is all around slow living, I'd like to know how your life has changed and slowed down since that discovery.
Yeah, sure. It's a funny one because it seems so long ago now. And yoga is definitely a continuous journey for me in terms of discovery, and I think as a person I'm quite chilled and laid back anyway, but I think it's important, or I found it important, just to catch myself when I found myself getting caught up in life, the demands of life. I used to work in Canary Wharf, and I won't say it was a stressor for me, only because I took it for what it was. But I just recognised the environment around me being really hectic, and there not really being a life beyond what I believed or saw was important. And by that I meant, you rock up for work, you tap in your Oyster card, people are rushing to get through the barriers, people are rushing to get to their desks, get to their desks, and then for the next few hours, then some of them are hating their jobs, and you go for lunch, people talking about work, and it's just like time's just one big why is there so much downness and negativity? And also in winter time, just going to work, as soon as I hit the train station, you get on the train, you don't really hit, or I wasn't really hitting fresh air until the evening, just because you travel into Canary Wharf, but everything's underground. It's constructed, so you're just in this environment.
Yeah, that is so true. I hadn't thought of it like that you don't even get fresh air.
So I just said to myself, I first of all, I just took a career break, and then when I came back from the career break, I was literally just chilling out. I just had a better work-life balance. I started to leave work on time. I recognized that, after the career break, you think sometimes you are indispensable
Yeah, absolutely.
when you're in something. And that's not just like in the banking world. I think anything that we do as individuals, if we've got responsibility, which is great to our craft or our trade, we feel that we've got to always be there. Whereas actually, when we step away, some truly magical things can happen in a creative space. But in the corporate world, actually, clients didn't fall apart. The bank didn't fall apart.
Yeah, the wheels keep turning.
Yeah, so I just had a better sense of what was important. And at that time, it coincided with me and another good friend, Natalie Gordon. Big up Boat and Natalie here on the
Remember
socials.
Natalie
She's
Gordon? She
amazing
went to the
photographer.
same school as me.
Look at that, 6 degrees. Yes, she did.
Yeah, she was above me, but I remember. I don't know why, but there we go. Magic. She sticks out. Still in my mind.
She sticks out. Doing amazing stuff in America. She made a move over to
Oh,
America. So
wow.
yeah, she followed her dream.
Go,
But
Natalie.
yeah, the two of us. Boom to Natalie, yeah. Oh, catch up call. But yeah, we decided just to do some introductory yoga classes, and we're jumping around a little bit, and then I just found a space, got power yoga in Clapham, which isn't there anymore,
Yes, I remember that space well.
but it definitely left an imprint and allowed me to discover the benefits of just taking an hour out of my day. And that's what it started out, just taking an hour and moving. And then it just evolved. So yeah, that's how I got introduced to yoga back in, I think, January 2012.
Wow. Amazing.
Who knew? Did you ever foresee that you would go on to create this life beyond moving for yourself? Now you have Aquaba Yoga. Now you are creating this mindfulness model for young people. You have the yoga mat. Did you have an intuition that this would be your future?
Yeah, no, I never ever looked at it going in that direction. It was very much, and I was very conscious for it to be something personal to me. Um, at the beginning in my bio, you mentioned, a couple of businesses that I've gotten myself involved in, and I've got that maybe annoying or addictive personality whereby if I see a problem, I want to try and solve it.
Love it.
Yes, love it as well. Just so inspiring, Mark.
Which, yeah, maybe some of your listeners can relate to, or query why people like us do this, and it comes from a problem solving angle, and I just definitely recognize the need to have something for myself that allowed me to understand myself better. Because I think, again, sometimes we go through life and we go through structures of, whether it's school, and this is, where we're fortunate. You've got structures where it's school, and then it's perhaps further education, or it's the workplace. Then it's, socially, what are your responsibilities in terms of relationships and potentially marriage and then children, and yeah, life can be about structures, and I may be a bit anti-structure, or anti-structured, I should say.
Oh, it's so refreshing to hear that.
Yeah, well, I think probably I've been fortunate to surround myself with good people and meet good people like yourselves along the journey. And I think the reason we're still talking is because we've got a fascination with life, and what can happen when you step out. And we have challenges, and then I
Sure.
think through the challenges, that's where yoga's allowed me just to know that the mat has always been the safe space I can go to, and I can delve into different learnings on the mat and a different appreciation of what yoga is beyond what is put out there, particularly on social media.
Yeah.
And it's something that, I love it. So yeah, that's what it does for me.
Can I, like, this is actually from a more selfish perspective, in terms of the introducing it to young people, and how are you, like, what kind of steps are you taking to do that, and how can I get involved?
Yes, and so I think this is where I've just still been conscious as to how it rolls out.
Or how can we support you?
Um,
I should say, it's not actually all about me.
yeah, I think it's one where it's almost like if you build it, they will come. So when it's been built, then be ready.
Yes.
Because where it sits right now, so I started the Quad Yoga over lockdown as a mechanism to still practice and share the practice with others, to get into it, to discover what they want to discover from it for themselves.
Nice.
And it's something that's continued. And it's been great to meet different people within the wellness, the yoga community along the journey, and also deepen my understanding. So that's still been paramount. I didn't want to lose focus of, actually, I'm now just teaching, and then it's no longer about something that I've got for me.
Yes.
That's always been very important for me.
I love this, Mark, and it's, it really shows in what you're doing. I love, like, even your Instagram post, just it resonates in everything that you do, and it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, I've developed an Aquaba Yoga branded mat, and I'm looking at how to roll that out, but at the right time.
Yeah.
It's got to be at the right time, because wherever it gets manufactured or produced, you've now got rising costs. So I'm not going to dive into it just because I've got the desire to do it. It's got to be done right, and also, how can I do it so that it doesn't rely on me? I don't want it to be a me thing. I want it to be something that people connect with. And so, when I'm talking about going into schools, it's I haven't worked at the right vehicle or the right time or the right mechanism to make that happen. So I'm kind of letting things evolve organically and see who I connect with, and seeing where time allows for those conversations to evolve. So I'm quite free at the moment. I'm quite free with it at the moment, and it's still there as a brand. I still do the teachings on a Sunday, Sunday morning, and I welcome other teachers to share their practice during the same.
I love that.
During that time. So if you're looking at getting involved, that could be one way, because that's to spread what the message of Aquabio is about. So I might reach out to you both and say, look, do you want to do a pre-record, and I put it live on the channel, and I share the love.
Yeah, we love it. Yes, yes, yes. That is a full-hearted yes from both of us.
Yeah, I love it.
Just I will say off air, listeners, this isn't off air. Somebody tell me what the proper term is for this. But anyway, off air, asterisk, we were talking about Tyler the Creator's new album and the format that it's arrived in. You guys weren't privy to that conversation, but we felt that you should be. Mark, can you just set the scene again for us in what is so cool and so awesome about this new release?
Sure. Now, I'm pretty sure it's Tyler the Creator. I'll double check it, or I'll just go through my mind to make sure it is. But let's say it's Tyler.
Okay.
For the first time, I want to say for the first time as well, his recent album on vinyl has outstripped that of digital downloads, which is something amazing, where people, once upon a time, vinyl was dead, the physical format was dead. Vinyl obviously got replaced by cassettes and mini discs and CDs, but we've kind of gone full circle, whereby we've gone past, I think, the fad moment of, people want to get a vinyl, to actually now people value the essence of something tangible, something real.
Powerful.
And it's a big moment for that to be the case. So yeah, that is the background to Tyler, and I think it's built on the premise of the power of scarcity. And where you make something so freely available, it's easy to, I guess, have a sense of lost value.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Where you've got something that is, a bit more limited, a bit like, a really cool relationship and meeting that ideal partner, you value it a lot more,
Yeah, absolutely. And I went to a In Conversation with Teedra Moses a week ago. She just rocked up to Box Park Croydon, which was so random, and I was loving it. I still love, actually, it made me return to her 2004 album Complex Simplicity, and she's just released a special edition on vinyl this week, or in the last week, which is really interesting, coinciding with what you're talking about. And I wonder, as you said, there's that essence of coming full circle, but I also wonder if there's that essence of people attributing more value to longevity and slow, the aspect of slow living, where we take more time, we take more care, we're more mindful about what we're bringing into our lives and how we're choosing to engage with the things we love.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a case of sometimes we might be in an echo chamber and that's why we see it, or whether it's a reality. And part of me feels that it is a reality. And just checking back on the Tyler comment, so Tyler he had the highest vinyl sales over a given week compared to digital downloads, but it was actually Harry Styles who was totally like, modern mainstream. So it was his album that was released actually where the first week's revenue, the vinyl sales would generate more than revenue from streaming. So
wow.
I say modern mainstream. Tyler is equally as up there, but it's good to see the crossover. It hasn't been just contained within a particular genre of music. It's gone from hip hop to what some would call pop in Harry Styles. But I think that sort of energy, I think for me, shows that things are changing beyond niche audiences, and there is a greater, wider yearning for longevity, as you've alluded to, which is encouraging. It's good because it's good. It's good to see that other people see the value of real. Digital's real. Digital's cool. The metaverse is, that world. It's something that could have evolved organically, but straight away you're getting big corporates jumping on it and then looking to control and manipulate it. Facebook jumping on it with Meta, changing its name. Rather than letting the digital world just grow and see what evolves, it's like we've got to own it. And I love it. I love what's come back, and I love that we're seeing tangible and real come to the fore once again, and people voting with their purse strings, and I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we know that you're an entrepreneur. We can definitely say that, Mark. But it feels like community is really at the heart of all of the businesses that you have. And even including your wellness work, there's a real sense of community there. And we wondered, was that conscious, or is that just at the core of your being, of who you are? And also, how many businesses do you have? Because, I've been to Coffee Shutter and I think it's an amazing business, but you didn't mention that one yet. Could you speak some more of what businesses do you run now?
I think yes. I think, and it's interesting to say that. So during lockdown, my co-founder Farouk Dean and I,
whoop whoop, just a big up to Farouk Dean.
We went from, we all seen the value of having a business coach, but then when you're in it, you're just always working. So we're probably seeing a business coach maybe once a year at most. Big up to all the business coaches out there, including certain other people that might be on this or might not. So yeah, we went from seeing our business coach once a year to, lockdown hit, and we were seeing our business coach once a week, and we did that, and we did it throughout lockdown, and we're now on twice a week, so twice a month, and we've seen the value, like the value in our confidence and how we're able to work within business. Our strategy has been immense. The reason I
Yes.
talk about my business coach, it's almost like I have my business coach just talking out there in the background. He's there. He's talking. He's talking. So the reason that I started talking about my business coach is he extracted from us, why do we do what we do? And the essence of where we sit within business is to make the world a better place. And so that's the DNA in what we bring to the fore, which we subconsciously didn't recognize. And sometimes it's good for someone to put it out. So it's interesting. That's something that you identified as well, because yes, community and bringing people together, and it comes back to, so when I asked, what are you talking about, community and music, everything that Cellar Door as an events agency started with DJing, promoting nights, and the way that the creative arts, whether it's music, art, dance, film, creativity brings people together.
Yes.
Yes.
You can form a
And I
narrative
wanted to
around
say
it.
that actually from Cellar Door days, like with your rave nights, the DJ, I just remember like community, like, massive, always brought people together, always amazing nights, always high vibes from the get-go.
Totally.
Absolutely. You were there from the beginning. I'm glad you remember them. It's the essence of bringing people together. Once you bring people together, and they can have people can have different ideas on the subject matter, but that's cool. You can play a track, you can watch a dance floor, and you get people from different backgrounds. I remember we used to play at a bar called Marketplace, Oxford Street, on one that we started doing Thursday evenings, and there was nothing better than,
I used to love that.
they were wicked events. You could put a track on, and you've got maybe a city worker who's, you put on a track, and they're just moving, uncoordinated, but they're just in the music. And then you've got a stepper from Shoreditch or from Brixton, and they're just like all coordinated, and they're moving, and but they're both reacting to the same track with different energies. And that's what I love about the creativity and music and the arts, is how you can bring people together. So what I do, what we do with the different businesses, is how can you bring people together? So and yeah, I think the coffee shots, which is a business that we started just pre-lockdown, a coffee shop. How can bringing people together over a coffee or a drink? There's always that DNA of just bringing people together. And once you bring people together, then we can get over differences, and also learn more from one another. So we love creating that foundation. So that is definitely DNA. Thanks for the observation. Do something.
It's a pleasure. We were both like, this jumps out at us straight away.
Yeah.
And is there anything, because it feels like, so just listening to you talk and through this conversation, it feels like there was kind of like a pre-mark and like a post-mark in terms of where that turning point was for you, where your life started to really shift and change, and there was more, I guess, harmony, more balance, more awareness of kind of living slowly, and being able to be more present. And I guess my question is, what's next? What's next for Mark? What's next for these wonderful businesses that you've created that bring people together?
Yeah, well, first of all, I've got to say, you need to get out of my head, man. Like, you're dropping some bombs right now. You're
Intuitive
freaking me out a
wizard.
little bit.
Intuitive magic.
100%. 100%. No, there's definitely been a journey of discovery, which I'm grateful for the awareness of knowing that I've been on that journey, and also knowing that the journey continues. I think more than anything, for me, it's a case of, people talk about being present, and think we live in an age and a time where we've got so much opportunity and we've got so much to appreciate on a day-by-day basis that we can easily let it bypass us.
Yeah.
And that also includes our achievements, our one-day achievements, just getting up and getting through, because life is a bit messed up. We've been in a period of chaos for so long, which in itself is an accomplishment to get through. So for me, what is next is walking and living with a sense of purpose and belonging, and not only one can walk into a room and one deserves to be there, which sometimes is easier said than done.
Yeah.
But I think we've all got, we've just celebrated the Queen's Jubilee. Now, this is taking away the individuals and emotion from the individual. It's a lot of energy focused on one person. People talk about tourism and money that's generated. Amazing. But I think we've lost sense of people as individuals and the value of each person. No one is worth more than the other. And as that continues, we lose sense of our own individual worth.
My gosh, yes.
That if we're able to recognize the value in ourselves, then I think we'll all live a better life for what it is at a particular moment on that day.
Yes.
But where we put value on of this person's doing that, or I'm competing with, I'm not as good as this, but there's just, it's easy to have too much competition with other people, and definitely where social media is a thing and people talk about mental health and mental wellness. For me, the important thing for me is to try and recognize each day that I've got my I call them faults. By no means am I perfect, but I can recognize those imperfections, give a nod to them, and say it doesn't define me. That I'm doing X, Y, Z, and let that be the best part I can turn up with. And when I do turn up, be comfortable and confident that this is me, and no one's going to judge me in a worse way than I will. So if I can get through that, then I'm doing all right. And that's how I'm going to turn up each day. So that's what's next for me, just to always try my best to turn up.
Beautiful.
And just try and work and convince others to do the same, But it's difficult. Like I said, we just had the Jubilee and there's a lot of energy on one person, and there's going to be a lot of fallout from some people just seeing that, who are struggling, and people talking about the next generation of the kings coming through, and people see there being like, so there's no end to this. But we've all got value. No one's worth more than the other. When we all go, we all disappear. No one disappears in a different sort of way to someone else. So let's value ourselves,
Thank you for listening. You can connect to us and our guests via the links in each episode's show notes. Before you go, we invite you to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the goodness to come. And if you enjoyed today, perhaps tell a friend to tell a friend. We are always grateful for you, our listeners, for our fabulous guests, and to everyone who has contributed to and been a part of our journey here.
Our music is by Tomo Carter. Everything else is brought to you by us, the PowerUp Power Team.
I'm Mesma.
I am AmaRouge. And we are PowerUp Podcast.